What makes you suspicious of your stepdad? I mean, what raises the alarm bells?
Um, for one, he's already made this threat 2 years ago that this exact thing was going to happen to her, that he would make sure this would happen to her. And he's threatened it, I'm pretty sure, multiple times and has done actions to her that have hurt her. So the fact that this is happening now is kind of coincidental, I guess, or it's just funny because you said that you were going to do this and now it's happening. So why wouldn't I just believe your story? I would need more answers than just believing your story at this point.
Imagine sitting in total darkness on a 50-foot sailboat, listening to the ocean slam against the hull. You think you are safe with your spouse of 25 years, chasing a retirement dream across the turquoise waters of the Bahamas. But then, the water swallows you whole. Your husband tells the world a rogue wave took you. He claims a tragic accident stole his beloved wife. But miles away, inside a dusty basement archive in Grand Rapids, Michigan, a stack of unindexed paper records exposes a terrifying truth. Today, we are going to expose a chilling historical pattern that completely shatters the timeline of the Lynette Hooker case. By the end of this video, you will look at her husband, Brian Hooker, through a completely different lens. We will reveal the exact handwritten words of a second wife who predicted this exact scenario decades ago. Furthermore, we will dismantle the electronic tracking data from their vessel, Soulmate, proving a direct conflict with what the suspect told the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Pay close attention to how these historical warning signs mirror a nightmare at sea. On April 4th, 2026, 55-year-old Lynette Hooker vanished from an 8-foot hard-bottom dinghy near Elbow Cay. Her husband, 59-year-old former U.S. Marine Brian Hooker, claimed rough seas and a violent current carried her away. He told detectives that Lynette fell overboard at night, wearing the engine's vital safety lanyard. Because she wore that emergency kill switch cord, the dinghy's motor died instantly. He told the media he watched her swim toward the shore but could not reach her in the dark. He claimed he paddled desperately for 8 long hours through the black void, until he drifted into Marsh Harbor at 4 a.m. The story sounds like a horrific maritime tragedy. The world initially offered sympathy to the grieving husband, but if you look closer, the timeline fractures instantly. Why didn't he drop anchor immediately to stay near her last known location? Why did he paddle miles away toward a distant boatyard instead of shouting for help at nearby vessels? As the U.S. Coast Guard and Bahamian authorities launched a massive air and sea search, the investigation rapidly shifted focus. If you believe this was just an unpredictable accident at sea, hit that subscribe button right now, because the evidence we are about to pull from the archives proves that certain accidents are planned years in advance. To understand how this dark history stayed buried until now, we have to look at a system that relies entirely on paper. Public digital background checks showed nothing unusual about Brian Hooker's past marriages. Online records across Michigan painted the picture of an ordinary civilian life. But independent journalists refused to trust the digital surface. Investigative reporter Greg Woodfield physically traveled to the Kent County Circuit Court in Grand Rapids. He walked directly past the computer terminals and demanded the physical, unindexed archive files from the clerk. What he discovered inside those old cardboard boxes shocked the entire investigative team. Brian Hooker had not been married once before Lynette. He had been married twice. His first marriage occurred in 1989 to a woman named Deborah at the 29 Palms Marine Base in California. That marriage collapsed within 4 years under an immediate shroud of secrecy. Deborah divorced him rapidly and moved back to Michigan, entirely refusing to speak to journalists today about his behavioral baselines. But it was the second marriage that contained the explicit blueprint for Lynette's disappearance. In 1999, Hooker's second wife, Elizabeth Hoseth, begged a local judge for a personal protection order. Elizabeth passed away in 2024, meaning she can no longer stand before a microphone to tell her story. However, her handwritten sworn affidavits survive from beyond the grave. The documentation details terrifying, explosive rages, physical assaults, and severe emotional abuse. She noted in the public record that Hooker would routinely destroy household items like rocking chairs and telephones to isolate her during his outbursts. The most disturbing revelation sits right in the middle of her protective application. In our most recent phone conversation, he suggested that I not mess with him, that there could be an accident, Elizabeth wrote in her own handwriting. She explicitly stated to the court that she tried to get him to elaborate on what he meant. He simply replied, "Everyone knows how I am. There could be an accident." Elizabeth even added an exclamation point to her official court filing, writing, "I have many reasons to consider his threat real." Decades before Lynette vanished into the Atlantic Ocean, Under the guise of an unpredictable maritime mishap, her husband's previous spouse was already warning a judge that an accident was his weapon of choice. But paper trails only expose a suspect's past mindset. The satellite data on the ocean exposes exactly what happened next. When Brian Hooker reported his wife missing on April 5th, he provided local emergency teams with specific coordinates near Aunt Pat's Bay. He claimed that was the precise location where the dinghy lost power and the current swept Lynette away. For weeks, rescue teams focused their underwater divers and sonar equipment exclusively on that northern zone. They found absolutely nothing in the water. The breakthrough came when federal investigators from the United States Coast Guard Investigative Service officially seized the couple's 50-foot primary sailboat, Soulmate. Special agents intercepted the vessel 40 nautical miles off Melbourne, Florida, as it was being transported back to the United States. Technicians immediately removed the ship's onboard navigation systems, chart plotters, and personal electronic devices to extract the raw GPS logs. When analysts mapped the digital data points against Brian Hooker's sworn testimony, they uncovered 5 definitive structural contradictions that shattered his timeline. The digital log tracking showed the primary vessel was not positioned where Brian claimed it was anchored during the emergency. The internal navigation system recorded a deliberate manual deactivation of the location beacon right before the estimated time of disappearance. Shoreline surveillance cameras from private homes nearby captured distinct, unexplainable flashes of light coming from the Soulmate at 7:47 p.m. and midnight. The physical direction of the ocean currents on April 4th directly contradicted his claim that a person would drift toward Marsh Harbor. The tracking data from his personal devices placed his physical location miles north of the coordinates he gave to the volunteer rescue teams. This satellite data completely reframes the narrative from a frantic rescue to a calculated cover-up. Why would an innocent husband turn off a boat's location system during the exact hours his wife went missing in the water? The geographical reality proved that while search teams were diving in the north, the boat's actual electronic footprint was miles away. Drop a comment below right now. Do you believe there is any logical, innocent reason to deactivate a vessel's emergency tracking system during a maritime crisis? When those coordinates proved a lie, the clock began ticking on a high-stakes psychological showdown inside an island prison. The Royal Bahamas Police Force arrested Brian Hooker on Wednesday, April 8th, moving him swiftly from Marsh Harbor to a secure custody unit in Freeport. Investigators swarmed his interviews, confronting him directly with the digital data from the boat and the testimonies of Lynette's family. For 5 intense days, detectives tried to break his composure. Under Bahamian law, authorities face strict detention limits without filing formal, written charges. As the hours ticked away toward a bizarre, hyper-specific legal deadline of exactly 7:21 a.m. on a Monday morning, the pressure inside the interrogation room reached a boiling point. Hooker maintained a total denial of wrongdoing, shielded by his local defense attorney, Terrell Butler. Because forensic teams had not yet recovered a physical body from the water, prosecutors lacked the definitive proof needed to secure an indictment before the clock ran out. They were forced to let him walk. The moment the cell doors opened, the suspect's public demeanor shifted instantly. He wept openly in front of television cameras, claiming he would never stop searching the beaches for his beloved Lynette, but his actions painted a completely different picture. Within 24 hours of his emotional release, Brian Hooker boarded a commercial flight and completely fled the Bahamas. He traveled straight to Sacramento, California, ostensibly to care for his aging birth mother. Since that flight, he has completely vanished from public view. His US-based defense attorneys refused to answer media requests, and his current physical location remains unconfirmed. Meanwhile, Lynette's daughter, Carly Aylesworth, is living through an absolute nightmare. She revealed that 2 years before this tragedy, her mother explicitly confided that Brian had choked her out and threatened to throw her overboard so that nobody could ever find her. If hearing about these unheeded cries for help makes your stomach turn, make sure you like this video and turn on notifications so we can keep bringing these cases into the light. Let me know in the comments if you think the Bahamian police made a fatal error by letting him board that plane. He escaped the island, but he walked straight into a rare legal trap designed specifically for cases where a victim is never found. In the world of criminal justice, prosecutors call this a nobody homicide. Many modern offenders believe that if they can successfully hide a body in the depths of the ocean, they can never face a murder trial. But legal specialist Tad Tobias explains that modern courtrooms no longer require a physical corpse to secure a life sentence. A circumstantial case relies entirely on building a mathematical impossibility of innocence. When a prosecutor can present a jury with a documented pattern of identical historical threats, combined with a proven digital lie about a GPS timeline, the legal baseline shifts dramatically. The unindexed court files retrieved from Grand Rapids are no longer just old history. They are now the exact behavioral blueprint that bridges the gap between intent and execution. Right now, inside the secure bays of the Fort Lauderdale Coast Guard Station, forensic experts are continuing a microscopic, fiber-by-fiber analysis of the Soulmate. They are looking for blood, signs of a struggle, or any chemical trace that proves Lynette was harmed on that vessel before it ever left the Bahamas. Her children are forced to sit in agonizing silence, waiting for federal warrants to finally catch up to the man who fled across the country. The smiling photos of Lynette Hooker on the beach continue to circulate online, serving as a reminder of a vibrant woman who trusted the wrong person in the middle of the ocean. The trap is closing, but justice is moving at an agonizingly slow pace. Do you believe the state has enough circumstantial evidence to convict Brian Hooker today? Or will he remain free forever because the ocean keeps its secrets? Don't let this case fade into obscurity. Click the video on your screen right now to watch our full investigative breakdown of the most calculated alibis in true crime history.